Welcome to Outlaw Sports. Mike Lownsbrough along with Burke Dales. And Burke, you've been part of the Stampeders. You've been part of a Grey Cup team. What's it like to defend your Grey Cup title?
It's fun. It's a lot of fun. It's a challenge because you're not, I guess technically, you're not supposed to win the next year. But, when you have that belief in the locker room, despite how much the team changes over the offseason, you still have the belief going into that season that you're going to win. And I tell you, back in 2008 when we won the big game, there was a point in the season where it was just, we would go into each game going, it's windy, it's rainy, it's cold, it's Winnipeg, we're not losing. We're winning this game. And it just, that belief of winning and what the Stampeder organization does a hell of a job doing is breeding and creating and developing a winning attitude and a winning culture. Every year, Calgary's going to be there somewhere in the end. And that all stems from leadership, upper office, and coaching.
So this year is going to be interesting. They got 11 guys coming back out of 24?
11 starters back out of 24. I think there's 4 or 5 guys that are getting a shot down in the NFL. There's a couple guys that have followed Devon out to BC. There's a couple guys that have made moves to other teams. I heard Dave Dickenson speak at the Sportsman Dinner last week, and he's still optimistic, and he still feels they're going to be there in the end. And I do not doubt that one bit. They're going to figure out a way. I mean, look what he did last year, Mike.
Yep.
They started off as the fast, finesse, flashy
Yep.
football team, and got riddled with injuries halfway through the season. And then Dave completely transformed the team into a hard-nosed, smash-mouth football team. That's a transformation. That was a coaching move because of all of the injuries. They took that mean-ass attitude into the postseason and won.
Yeah.
That's the definition of a strong organization.
So that losing streak near the end of the season was probably the best thing that ever happened to them.
I would fully agree with you on that. They knew that they were going to have a chance. They knew they were going to get some guys back in the post. They couldn't string together some wins towards the end of the season, but it was a character builder for them. They entered the postseason, and it took over from there.
It's funny. A lot of people, as soon as the free agency came, and boy, was that a lot of fun watching who was signing where, right? Mike Riley goes out there, Edmonton makes all those changes. Everyone's saying, oh, Mike Riley is in BC, they're going to win. Well, hold on here. We still got to play these games. We thought Tampa Bay was going to win the Stanley Cup. You still have to play the game. Mm-hmm. And what you said, the Stampeders, on paper, with all their injuries, really had no business winning that last year. But they found a different way to win, and it's belief. And I tell you what, Dave Dickenson as a head coach, one of the smartest guys, one of the nicest guys, but one of the most competitive guys you'll ever meet. And he's all shucks from Montana, but I tell you what, across him, he wants to win at all costs.
Hey, he does. And I didn't know how he was going to do as a head coach. I know they've had a plethora of opportunities in that final game. They finally put the nail in the coffin last year, which was great to see. Dave's a hell of a coach. The guys have bought in, and regardless of them missing 11 starters from last year, I still feel that they're going to have a great chance to be there in the end this year. I really do. It does come down to leadership. It does come down to coaching and the right off-season moves. But it also comes down to that winning culture that they've built in Calgary. And it was there when I was there, and it's there now.
If you want to see what Dave Dickinson's really like, Jerry Forbes and I are doing a show, and it'll be carried on our sports page. But you got to watch A Day in the Life of Dave Dickenson. And you'll have a whole different appreciation and respect for Dave when you see this, because, he's multifaceted. You can't just pinpoint and say, well, this is Dave Dickenson, because it's not.
No.
And he's got great stories. He's got great history, great respect for the league. It'll be interesting to see what his brother does in Saskatchewan.
Just what he did on the field. I mean, how smart he was as a quarterback.
Sure.
When you look at him, and he's not. And if you ever see this, Dave, don't get mad at me, but you're not a physical specimen. You're not. But he scrambled like Doug Flutie, and he made calls and reads, and he put the ball on the check down. Like, he was just so brilliant at the pivot position. And, you know, I was real fortunate to, one, have won a Grey Cup with him, and two, to have played with him. He helped me a lot in my career when I first started out. And, and he's become a hell of a head coach.
You know what I liked about him as a player? Win, lose, or draw, he came out. I've seen a lot of quarterbacks. Danny Barrett, I mean, I love Danny Barrett. Great guy to hang around with and go for a beer with, joke with. But if he lost, you'd have to go get the cleaning lady to get him out of the showers, for God's sakes, you know?
Yeah.
But Dave was there, and he just, okay, yeah.
He was a team player.
Yeah.
You know, and he would go out and he'd celebrate for beers with the boys after wins. He was part of the team, and football is just in his blood. And it's nice to see the success he's had.
Yep.